And as they say, numbers tell a story, but only if someone knows how to read them. And let's talk about building the right franchise foundation. Before a business or a franchise starts scaling, what do they need to have in place financially? What are the most common gaps in your experience? What separates the one who really take off from the ones who get stuck? And how does that connect to what you have built with PFG Accelerator Program? We'll come to that if you'd like to share. Hey everyone, I'm Nishant Verma, founder Franchise to World and Director of Franchise Recruitment and Success at Bricks for Kids. And welcome to Franchise Forward, the show where we dig deep into people, ideas, shaping the future of franchising. Franchise Forward is my way of sharing insights, strategies, success stories through engagements with successful franchisees, franchisors, and industry experts. Quick personal note before we dive in. We were supposed to record this episode last week, but my right shoulder decided to go on strike. I was in a lot of pain because of rotator cuff, still recovering, but I am back in action. And I want to thank my guest for being incredibly understanding and flexible while I recovered. Today's episode is called When Finance Meets Franchising. And my guest is someone who's an expert on what it means to grow business the smart way. LaMar Vandusen is the founder of PFG and PMG, two firms helping entrepreneurs and franchise owners go beyond accounting and actually build businesses that can scale with systems, structures, and solid foundations. You know how some people can make numbers actually tell stories? My guest today does exactly that. He's helped countless owners secure funding, clean up their financials, and move from chaos to clarity, all through his PFG Accelerator program. LaMar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nishant, for having me here today. It is a privilege and an honor to be a part of Bricks for Kids. I'm so excited for the growth of the business, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today.
Likewise. All right. So let's get started, LaMar, with our conversation, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Let's start from the very beginning. What made you want to start PFG, PMG in the first place? Was there a moment when you realized that business owner didn't just need accounting, they need full growth process from idea to expansion?
You know, Nishant, that's a great question. It's a bit of a short but long story. You know, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12, 13 years old. I've always been. And throughout the process of that, I was working and downtown and working in a corporate environment. And I was still working for myself, helping business owners with business plans. And at some point in time, I decided that that was more rewarding than working in the corporate environment. So I talked to my wife, and we were having a baby, and the decision was either do it on your own now or basically work in the corporate environment. So I took the leap of faith, and I started helping business owners, writing business plans, developing them, and then getting them going. And then once I realized that they needed capital for financing, we started working on raising capital through the government guaranteed program, through operating lines of credit. And then eventually I hired a CPA. She's still with me by the name of Mandeep Sahi. And her and I started an accounting business together. It was crazy. We had no clients. And we knew that business owners were falling short when it came to bookkeeping and accounting. And over the past 12 years, we've developed an amazing business on the accounting side. And then the financing side, it's just been so rewarding helping business owners through government grant programs, operating lines of credit, anything to help their business grow. It's just been a really rewarding experience for me over the past 15 years.
Awesome. And as they say, numbers tell a story, but only if someone knows how to read them.
You've said it. You know, it's so often that, you know, you talk to business owners, and one is when you're starting a business, the first thing that you want to do is, I tell everybody, you should build a business plan. It is your pathway to success. Yep. Imagine if we didn't have Google Maps anymore and you were trying to get to your destination, right? Sure. How long did it take you back in the day if you're trying to get to somewhere and you just had to stop every time you wanted to figure out where you're going? A business plan is very similar to that. It gives you your roadmap to success and tells you whether you're on the right pathway or not. It helps you crystallize your ideas to make sure you understand what your thoughts are and put them on paper. All of those things are so important. And then to understand your numbers actually once you get going, profit and loss statement, balance sheet, cash flow analysis, break even analysis, all these analysis and statements help you understand whether you're successful or not. And I talked to business owners. I was just at a meeting yesterday, and they, some clients, they were going through this. They've been at it for 2 years, and they don't have any systems in place to understand their numbers. They're just going on hopes and ideas or feelings, and feelings and numbers and money don't go together. You can't have feelings and numbers. So numbers make the most important sense when you're being an entrepreneur.
Awesome. Great way of putting it together, Lamar. You work with a lot of franchise owners, I know. From your experience, what separates the one who really take off from the ones who get stuck? And how does that connect to what you have built with PFG Accelerator Program? We'll come to that if you would like to share.
I think, the thing that we just talked about is so important, Isha. Know your numbers, right? Is that if you base your business on your gut, those guys always end up losing. I see so many people in the past 5 years that, they've had a great year and they think, oh man, it's all instinct. It's all me just, having all the right things and tools in place in order to make it happen, but they don't know their numbers still. And then the next year they falter and they don't know why they faltered and they don't know why the success was or why the failure is. And that's just as important, Ishan, is to know why you're having success. What are the key elements to success that you're having? Is it on product? Is it on the service? Is it on the relationship? And if you don't know those things, if you don't know your numbers, you will not have success. So every month you should be analyzing your numbers. I tell my team every day, I literally open up my QuickBooks, my profit and loss, my balance sheet, my accounts receivable, my payables every day. First thing, it's almost like routine for me. And I want to know is, are we on target? Did we capture the money that is owed to us? Did we pay the people that we pay? And are we on target for the year? And if we are, great. And if we're not, what do we need to do to adjust?
Awesome. So basically, success in franchising or any other business isn't luck. It's structure meeting execution.
Yes, structure meeting execution and staying within the guidelines of understanding your books and making sure that you're on target to hit your numbers. And if you are, great. And if you're not, make those adjustments immediately so that you're not losing in the end.
Yeah, perfect. And let's talk about building the right franchise foundation. Before a business or a franchise starts scaling, what do they need to have in place financially? What are the most common gaps in your experience, and how does your team help fill them?
Well, Nisha, you talked about the accelerator program. I don't know if you want to go into that now, but I could just touch on the first thing that you need to do in any business is incorporate your business, right? Whether you're starting up a franchise or non-franchise, an incorporation is like its own entity. It's its own person, its own living mechanism that creates identity, it creates credit, it creates history. So the earlier you start that, the better it is for lenders to lend you money, people to see your business in a certain light way. So you want to first is incorporate your business. Secondly is you want to make sure that incorporation in Ontario, you registered the proper taxes, HST or any other province or state that you're in. You have to register with the government so that they know that you're an active participating corporation, first and foremost. Once you've got that set up, connect your bank account, get your systems in place, whether it's QuickBooks or our Zoho software, any system that you have that's going to track all of your receipts, because that's the most important part. When you put money into the business, that is called a shareholder's loan. That means that you have lent money to the business and the business now owes you that money back tax-free. And so many people fail to recognize that. And in the end, they don't take advantage of those benefits when it comes to either taking out money or selling the business.
Awesome. That means getting ready before getting busy.
100%. Make sure that you are set up properly. Then once your business gets going, it's processes, it's automation, it's connecting, making sure that everything works properly. And if it does,
Yeah,
you're going to be successful just based on the fact that you're ahead of 60, 70% of business owners. So
sure,
that's the
sure,
first thing that
sure,
you want to do.
sure. Love it. Uh, as you're saying, I understand you're a big believer in systems, not just in finance, but in operations too.
Yeah.
Now, why does structure matter to you so much? And how is that philosophy built into your accelerator program? I'm touching upon accelerator program, and of
Yeah.
course, I want you to talk about it in details. But the question is, why does structure matter so much?
Structure keeps everybody accountable for their actions, Nishan, right?
Hmm.
We invested a lot of money into this. We have a system. We use Zoho not only for bookkeeping, but we use Zoho for our CRM, for communicating, for marketing. And we spent a ton of money on the system and identifying the process from when it starts to when it ends and the communication throughout that process and who's involved in that process, who's
Hmm.
accountable for that action item. Because what happens is when business gets going and you're moving at a pace, you don't know whether or not something happened, who's accountable, and what the reason is or what the reason is not, why a customer is happy or not happy. And
Yeah.
if you have everything in a system and you have a process, you can identify where the bottlenecks are, where the successes are, and then rinse and repeat. I tell that to
Yeah.
everybody. If you have success, rinse, repeat, do it again.
Yeah, yeah. So, would that mean moving from hustling harder to scaling smarter, isn't it?
Scaling smart. You have nailed it. Like the key is that you shouldn't have to work twice as hard to get the
Hmm.
same result, right? And
Good.
that's the definition of it. I tell people the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? So if you keep doing the same thing and you think something's going to change, it's probably not. It's probably you that needs to change and figure out how to identify what the problem is and then fix that and then move on to the next opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Lamar, there's a sea of funding options out there, right? It can feel overwhelming to a new business owner, especially who's going to own a franchise for the first time.
Yeah.
How does your process help entrepreneurs find the right option and so that they're actually approved?
Going to the bank for anybody, even a seasoned business owners, is scary, right? You're giving yourself and your information, and you're waiting for someone to decide whether or not they're going to give you money based on the information that you've given them. And that proposition for anybody is scary. And
Yeah,
what we try to do is make that process simpler.
sure.
I've been at this for over 20 years. The company's been active since 2010, so almost 16 years now. And
Hmm.
this is what we do every day. We work with all the major banks. We try to identify the best program for the franchisee to say, based on your qualifications, your experience, your credit, here's what we think is possible, and here's where we think it's going to be the best opportunity for you to acquire those capitals that you need. And here are the benefits of it, and here are the risk and rewards. Would you like to move forward? Because part of this, Nishan, is it's easy to take money. I tell this to people all the
Hmm.
time too.
Hmm.
It's very
Hmm.
hard to pay it back. Okay.
Hmm.
So be prepared to know that if you're going to take this, here's your responsibility as a business owner to pay that back and be prepared for that responsibility. And that helps them have a clear mind going into it because you've got so many thoughts about what you're doing and starting up and people and marketing and all these things. But when you have a clear understanding of how much capital you need, how
Hmm.
long is it going to take to pay it back? What is the interest? All those things make it a lot easier when making that decision and then having a successful outcome because that's
Yeah.
important too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is like Lamar, you're not just showing them the door, you're actually helping them walk through it.
Yeah, not only do we show them the door, we guide them through it, and then in the end, our accounting team comes in and we set them up for their bookkeeping, we set them up for their accounting. They get assigned a team member, they get
Hmm.
assigned a CPA to understand what their numbers are. You want to coach Everybody, Tiger Woods had a coach. Why? Everybody has a coach, right?
Yes.
You need a
Yes.
coach to keep you on track and remind you what you're doing right and what you're not doing right.
All right. Let's talk about the PFG accelerator in action. For someone hearing about it for the first time, what does the PFG accelerator actually look like? And how do you take someone from concept to fully funded and supported long term? Could you give all the details step by step?
Yeah, Nish, and thank you for asking. This is something that we have coined this process, as you said, the accelerator program. And we've identified the key elements to success from the start all the way to basically setting up your business and continuing the growth pattern. So,
Mm-hmm.
as we talked about earlier, the first thing you want to do is make sure your LLC, your incorporation, whatever your S Corp, whatever that is, you set it up properly. Do you have a minute book? People don't talk about a minute book and how important that is when it comes to getting financing, when it comes to building a business, when it comes to selling that business. How many shares do you have? What type
Mm-hmm.
of shares do you have? Who are the directors? Who are the shareholders? Who is the treasurer? All of those things go into that minute book, and that is critical when you're starting up your business. And so we want to make sure that those things are done properly, first and
Awesome.
foremost. Making
Awesome.
sure that you've registered with the government to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you have all the elements that you need to tell the government, hey, I'm an active business and I want to make sure that you know that I'm going to be sending invoices and collecting money. Government
Yep.
likes that no matter where it is.
Yep. Yep.
Third thing to do is now you've got the business incorporated. Now
Mm-hmm.
you want to have your business plan, right? So that business plan is something that you have to think about, develop, crystallize. Marketing. How many people are you going to have? Where are you located? Who are your competitors? Have you done a SWOT analysis? Have you done your forecast for the next 3 years? As we talked about, break even analysis, forecast profit and loss, balance sheet. How much are you investing? What's your terms? All of those things are built into your business plan. And that's the beauty of it is that now you go, oh, I thought I was going to do $1 million. And you're like, oh, maybe you know what? I should either scale back or maybe I can do $1.5 million. But
Mm-hmm.
only you know once you actually have those numbers in place, whether or not that's something that's realistic. And now you have a go forward on what you need to do in order to make that happen. And then you can make adjustments on the fly. So that's your business plan. And what we do as a firm is we help you with that. We actually build the business plan around you. So we have a CPA comes, they interview for an hour. Our writer meets with you for 30, 40 minutes. And they actually go through the business plan with you and they give you their concepts and help you build that out, crystallize it. And then we review it together. Once you're satisfied, then away we go and you can take that to the bank. And if you need funding, that's the beauty of it. This plan is going to give you the funding that you need because the bank knows that one is you've thought out your idea, two is that you understand your numbers, and three that you've worked with a company like ours that says not only are we confident in the numbers, but we're going to put our name behind that business plan. We're going to put a CPA stamp on that business plan. And that
Sure.
gives the bank more confidence to know that they can trust those numbers, they can trust the business, and they can trust the person that's borrowing the funds. So that's
Awesome.
step three. Then, as I said, acquiring financing, whether it's an operating line of credit, term loan, government loan, will help navigate you through that entire process. We have our own admin team. We have a whole set of underwriters that will look at your credit, your net worth, your capability of acquiring financing, what you need, and coach you through that entire process. And that helps alleviate some of the stress. And then we'll take you to the right institution to get the financing. Because every
Mm-hmm.
institution has a different appetite. Some like it, food, some don't like food, some like
Mm-hmm.
this, some like that. And our goal is to figure out where to place you and make sure that you have the best success opportunity to get financing.
Got it.
After that, Nishant, what we do now is we set you up on your bookkeeping. So we've connected all the dots. Now we've got financing going. Now we're making sure that your LLC, your corporation is connected to a software, whether it's Zoho or QuickBooks or wherever it may be. And we're going to make sure that everything is done, your chart of accounts. So if anybody knows what a chart of accounts is, especially in franchises, there should be a standard way that you report your information. Everything should always look the same, especially when it comes to franchises. And then that report, when it goes out, you know that it's been reported accurately. And what our team does is we come in, we'll help make sure that the chart of accounts is set up properly, your payroll is set up properly, because that's important. You have to pay your employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then what happens is you get assigned a CPA, you get assigned an accountant and a payroll specialist, and they're going to work with you to make sure they're going to give you videos, walk you through that entire process. And now you're set up for success. Now you're set up for everything that you need in order to have a successful franchise. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want to do with franchisees. We know that most people that buy franchise, they want a system like Bricks for Kids. They want to know that there's a system in place to help them build a business. Otherwise, they would just start their own business.
Sure.
And what we like is that when we talk about our partners like yourself and Bricks for Kids, and we talk to franchisees, they love the fact that they have a system in place.
Oh,
And we're
yes.
just that added support to help them give the key areas of finance and accounting so that now they can just grow and expand and be successful from now until the end when they're ready to sell it or pass it on to their kids.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, Lamar, should I call it a business boot camp with real results attached?
But you know what we'll do? We'll throw some physical activity into it, Nishan, and make it a boot camp where you be physically, mentally, and readily fit to go.
Exactly. And you've seen this model really resonate with franchise owners that you've worked with. Why do you think it works so well in the franchising context when they are trying to build something from the scratch?
Yeah. Well, because as I said, the franchise or you developed a franchise because you wanted to have a system, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understood that there's a system that people have to have in order to be successful. The accelerator program is a complement to the system. It's saying to the franchisor and the franchisee, you already have a system in the elements of identifying the business, identifying the type of client or customer that you're looking for, identify the marketing, identify the brand. All of that is in place. But the key areas that people are missing the most are the accounting and the financing. And what we've been able to do and work with Bricks for Kids and the franchisees is we say to them, now you've got a partner in the two key areas that matter the most, accounting and financing. And I think that's such a compliment for franchisors, for franchisees. And we've seen the success so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've already had some success with the franchisees for Bricks for Kids. And we're so happy and so honored to be a part of it. And I'm just enjoying it every day.
Yeah. And since you're on the ball, you're now directly working with the Bricks for Kids franchisees through this process and, definitely building it up. I'm part of it, but I still want you to share how did that partnership come together? What's been your biggest takeaway so far from helping new franchise owners set up the process and success? Would you like to share that with everyone?
Yeah, Chris and I met at an EF 100 event, and I met you there as well. And we had talked, and I love the idea of Bricks for Kids and what it stands for. STEM. My daughter she's into Legos. She loves Legos, and so for me, it was a natural thing that this makes so much sense. She's so creative. And I love this of what Bricks for Kids represents. And so for me, it was an easy opportunity for us to partner and develop a relationship. And, you and both have been so kind to us and helping us introduce to the franchisees. And I'll tell you a story about one of the franchisees. She was new to the U.S. and she was also new to basically business. And really the idea was okay, let's help build a business plan for you, right? Many people don't think, should I spend money on a business plan or should I just do it on my own? And this franchisee took the opportunity to build the business plan. And I think, you and I have talked, I think she is, doing very well with the business from the start because she was willing to take that first step and think about her business and what she wanted rather than just react and do.
Correct.
Right? So many people just go, I'm just going to do and hope things.
Yeah.
Karen thought the opposite. I'm going to actually think about it. And she knew that she needed a plan in order to help her to grow. And I wish her all the best. And same thing with the ones in Calgary. We've had some success there. So it's just an honor to be a part of it. And I'm learning that everybody, wants to be an entrepreneur and being a franchise just helps them feel more supported than if they were to do it on their own.
Awesome. And like I've been part of this whole process, and I can say it's been great seeing finance and franchising align so practically, turning passion projects into profitable ventures of future. Real results. You have had dozens of businesses go through this system. Can you share? Of course, you shared something about Bricks for Kids, but do you have any other success story? Someone who really benefited from having everything under one roof along with you guys?
Yeah, we've had some really good success stories lately. I'll tell you one that resonates with me a lot is that we had a client, not a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this couple came in. They were so frustrated with dealing with their institution that they were dealing with, and they weren't having success in getting the government loan that is available to any business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And so the account manager recommended that they come and talk to us from that institution. So they had been working with the prior institution for months and didn't have any results. They came
Mm-hmm.
to us. In a matter of 2 weeks, we were able to not only prepare the package, submit the package. We had the approval within 3 weeks, and the funding within about 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so surprised and honored. And from that point, we've watched this couple expand and grow, where they actually have, I think it's Lego or one of these organizations come in, Disney, and now they've partnered with them. And now this is going to be a franchise. And now they're actually coming to us and saying, okay, how do we franchise? Because everybody loves our business model. So it's when you have that experience and they have such a high regard for what you've contributed, it makes every day rewarding. And that's why I get up, like you said, early in the morning, and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up.
So that's what I call a best proof, a real transformation and not just a spreadsheet win, I would say.
You're exactly right. So we've had many of those success stories. I could go on for days, but that's just one of the ones that stand out. And I always look forward to the next opportunity to help
Yeah,
a business owner,
sure.
franchisee, and guide them. You and I have lots of experience, and I think part of that is you see some of the potholes that some people don't see when they're going down the road.
Hmm.
And the best advice that I can always give them is watch out for these potholes, because some are bigger than others and some you can't get out of. So just make sure that you're on track.
That's an advice. And someone listening who wants to grow their business right away, what's the one thing that you'd say do this week and move forward?
Yeah, put your ideas on paper, right? If you really want to be successful, every day you should set your goals every day. I'm sure you do it, Nishant. I do it every day. I in the morning,
Sure.
I sit down. I say, what are the top 3 things I need to accomplish today? Then what are the secondary things? And I brainstorm. That's the first thing that I do every day. And it's so important to me. And I say, as long as I accomplish these 3 things, then I've had a successful day,
Awesome.
because you're going to have so many things that happen throughout the day, and you got to be focused on the key things that matter the most.
Love it. Simple, focused, doable. Thank you. So, Bill, that's a wrap on When Finance Meets Franchising. A huge thank you, Lamar, for joining us. And I hope, my viewers will definitely learn a lot from this conversation. And also thank you for sharing how the PFG Accelerator is helping businesses scale with confidence and how franchisees are finding freedom through structure.
No, thank you, Nish, and I thank you for the opportunity for having this event today. And I'm so honored, as I said, to be a part of Bricks for Kids. And we look forward to helping many business owners and franchisees expand and grow. And anything that we can do to support, we're here to help. So feel free to reach out at any point in time you need our support. Thank you.
If you found value in this episode, share it with someone building their dream business. And remember, it's not about hustling harder, it's about building smarter. And a small personal note, recording this episode after that shoulder break reminded me how important it is to pause, reset, and come back stronger in business and in life. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you for the next Franchise Forward. Till that time, keep pushing forward your franchise ownership dreams.